Okay.
Rappers don't smile, Q. Rappers don't smile. We're still angry. We're still angry. No, I'm joking.
But we're saying
Here we
peace,
go.
like peace.
This is
The Good Vibes
The Good Vibes.
with DJ Ready D. Only on Good Hope FM.
Greetings, everybody. I am DJ Ready D. Welcome to another Women's Month celebration special chat. And this time around, we are focused on warrior women. Ladies breaking the barriers, ladies excelling in the field. And who better to chat to the one and only, the mighty, the multi-talented EJ Van Lyrik, formerly of Portland's Mitchell's Plain, and now she is doing her thing globally. EJ Van Lyrik, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for that awesome intro, D. It's such a pleasure to be on the show. Always, man. Always. It's been a while. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate
Absolutely. Thank you so much for making time for us. I know that you are extremely busy. And sometimes when I look at your content online, I'm going, but how the heck does she do this? What now? You know, you're busy with so many things. But before we get into the discussion, do you miss home at all?
Oh, man. I think miss home is an understatement, a complete understatement. I'm homesick. I'm terribly homesick.
If there's one thing about Cape Town that calls you back home, what would that be? Just one thing. Is it the food, the people, the mountain, the air? Just one thing. Name one thing.
It's the people. I mean, my peeps, man, like the culture, the mountain. I even have, I cannot show you right now, but back on that wall, that painting that's on there, it's Table Mountain. So when I sit on my couch, I look at Table Mountain from Blaubert Beachside when the mountain is on the left.
Yeah.
A picture postcard kind of view of the mountain when it's blue. You see Lion's Head, you see Devil's Peak. Oh man, I wish I could stand there again and just put my feet in the sand and oh man, feel the sun, because here in Holland there's hardly any sunshine.
So I mean, you're based in Holland right now.
Mm-hmm.
So with regards to your journey, you know, when it comes to music and what you're actually doing from that perspective, what's the major changes that you have to adapt to?
I suppose everything has been a change. I mean, because I am the person creating the music, everything that affects me affects what I do creatively. So when I landed here, the first 3 years of me being here, I couldn't create.
Wow.
It was such a stressful thing, D. It was really super stressful for me to adapt to the culture, learn a new language, because although people speak English here, it's not really their thing. You know, I had to start working a 9 to 5 because the conditions for me to have been in residence here requires that I have a 9 to 5.
Wow.
And the reason for that is basically that the Dutch government don't want you to come here and end up on the street. They want you to be employed. They want to make sure that you have a contract and all of that stuff. And because I was a musician, you know, it was like I knew a lot of people here. I could make music and I had all the contacts in the world. But at the same time, it was a thing of, but that doesn't matter to the government at all. It's like you're just a person. You're just a human being from another country.
Absolutely.
Settling here, and to me that obviously makes perfect sense that they're doing that, but it's stressful. It was stressful, so I couldn't create for 3 years. Even DJ Azul was on my case, like, where's the music, EJ? I hope he's listening. He's gonna listen to this. So I mean, even though there was such a lot of encouragement also from my friends back home, musicians, family, everybody else, and people here, I was just like, I just couldn't push myself.
You've done so much throughout your musical career, and I would say the bulk of the work that you've actually put out there, I mean, it's all iconic pieces, you know, from the albums, from your work with Goddessa, right through to being a solo artist. So for our viewers and our listeners that don't really know much about EJ Van Lyrik, you just want to give us a quick breakdown of how it actually started for you and how were you influenced to get involved specifically with hip hop music? Reason why I'm asking that is, besides being a truly skilled and talented MC / rapper and storyteller, you are equally as good a singer as well. So you could have chosen, you know, a different path at any stage. And normally when people are singing, you won't assume that they actually want to venture off into the realm of hip hop. So let's go back to the beginning and, you know, let's just chat about the beginning stages and days of EJ Van Lyrik.
Well, thank you, Dee. Coming from you, that is a massive compliment. Thank you. Yeah, I suppose, you know, I've always been drawn to melody, and you can't really pinpoint exactly where, like I can't really pinpoint exactly where the two, being an MC and being a singer, you know, became one thing. It was just always there. I guess the rap side of things evolved into me becoming an MC because I was a poet. On school, even primary school, I used to write little essays. I write. That was the thing. That's where it started, actually. And writing poetry. And eventually, you know, I'm hearing this thing in high school, hip hop. Oh, people are rapping and it rhymes. It's rhyming. That's poetry, right? And then, I experimented a little bit with it in high school. I even remember POC coming to Portland's High, and you were on the decks and I was performing as well. I mean, we weren't introduced anything. Just saw Jasmo. I was sitting in class and I saw Jasmo's high top going. Yeah. You didn't see Jasmo, you just saw the high top going like past. I was like, I'm about to faint. Oh my gosh, my heroes at school. So I mean, that was, I would say, where I thought to myself, damn, I want to do that. I want to do what they're doing. That's where it kind of crossed over, you know, where I was still doing it for fun. Also trying beatboxing beats on my, for my birthday, my dad kind of gave me this double tape deck. So the one side was recording side, and I would just record on the one side, then, you know, beatbox, and then add a bass line afterwards, and that's where the production thing started also. So I used to switch it, and it was really bad quality, switch the cassette tapes around, and at the end the quality was so bad, but I had a tape of myself rapping on a beat. It's like beatboxing.
My very first demo was done exactly the same way that you're describing right now. Really? That's the demo that I handed to Chakin, who was the lead rapper for POC, because he's dad at the recording studio. So I guess, you know, that's something that we have in common, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
The demo tape also.
Yeah, I mean, what else did we have, right? It's a Mitchell's Plain thing, I guess, but... innovative and resourceful, right? Yeah, exactly, man. Well, that's good to know. Great stuff. Yeah, so, I mean, I guess it kind of just... From that point onwards, something flipped in my mind. It's like, you know, I've got the boom style and the Our World LPs, and here you guys are, and I just decided then and there that, okay, it was like a boost of encouragement, I would say, to kind of try out everything, because I also have a mom and a dad who listen to different types of music. So that's why it's also kind of versatile, the singing element of it. My dad being into the early rap music, hip hop music, and you know, funk and soul and that kind of stuff. And my mom used to love rock music and the Beatles, pop, all of that kind of stuff back in the day. So yeah, even if you listen to all of my music, it's a little bit of a mix of everything. You know, the reggae is there, all under the umbrella of hip hop, basically. But but it's
when we talk about the versatility and the work you put in, of course, you know, we can't bypass Goddessa. And, you know, just for the time that the group existed and what your ladies were actually saying, because back then, there weren't as much females actually taking that step into getting involved with the music and the culture the way that you and the rest of the members did at that time. And also you were saying quite a lot of things relating to the social and the political conditions at the time, and you were speaking from a woman's point of view as well. I just want to touch on that a little bit, you know, just in terms of the motivation, a little bit of, you know, what the message of Goddessa was at the time and how that actually filters into your life now as a solo musician.
Yeah, I guess, of course, we were three females, three women, young women, at the time we felt that not only in hip hop culture in South Africa and Cape Town, but in general, there was a the lack of the woman's voice, like the female perspective. Yes, we had our 4 Feet Deeps already. We had Bernie, who was also a solo MC, Brown's Cafe days, and if for people who know about that, and the bass, and people used to go into the bass and all of that, know about the 4 Feet Deeps and all of the ladies who were doing their thing back then, and also the Beagles. But there was still like this overwhelming male presence, and it just felt like even that one time when the first time I would say that I stepped out doing one of the hip hop matinees, I remember Urban Gear, Nashi from Urban Gear being there.
That's right.
And he was kind of providing all of the awards, so to speak, like bags and T-shirts and all of these kinds of things for the battle winners, people who won the battles. So eventually, long story short, I won a battle, totally unexpected. And it was just one of those things that kind of told me personally that I can do this, and also because when I was there, I only saw like a handful of girls, like a handful of ladies, which was still cool to see that, I wasn't the only one. That was great. But just something clicked in me, and I was like, we gotta step up and do something, and sort of be that form. I don't want to say role model, but that form of encouragement or trying to do it. If you do it, then others are going to see it, and it's much more powerful than just saying you want to do it. Just do it, because if you do, then there's going to come changes. There's this kind of proof, evidence to other sisters who want to do it, but they're kind of a little bit afraid to step out, because all the criticism from the guys, and you're good for a girl. You always hear that kind of stuff, and then it's discouraging. It really is. But to break through that was a difficult one. And with Goddessa, because we were 3, it made it a little bit easier. Because if you're on your own, you try, and you think you fail because people tell you fail and all of that, and it was just difficult in the beginning. But Shamima and Bernie already knew each other, and they already wanted to have a female crew. And at the same time, I was thinking about doing the same thing, because I know the power, the power that there is when people stand together and they do something together, and they have like mindset and whatever. So luckily I met the 2 of them, and Shamima initiated the whole thing, got us all together to do our first track, or actually 2 or 3 tracks. First one, and then 2 others. For a documentary that had to do with gangsterism on the Cape Flats. Oh. And at the time, I think that was 99, 2000. So, back in the day.
So you traveled quite extensively. How were you received at the time? Because once again, I just want to kind of go back, to that time and that era. We didn't have the resources that we have now, as far as technology and the internet and all, these different, I would say, elements that do exist, for musicians to be able to communicate, to network, and also link, and also be in touch with booking agencies and, the concert environment and all these things. But as a all-female crew, you managed to get around, not just around the country, but you had this really extensive, I would say, reach and experience. What was that like for an all-girl hip-hop group?
It's very interesting in the sense that because we are female, we know and understand what the mission is, that we're doing this because we want to have a bigger female presence and encourage others to do it as well. And there's value in that, of course, because the female perspective is very different from the male perspective. But at the same time, if you look at say for instance, the demographic side of it, being a so-called colored female and having positive role models because of the way the media treats the female image, number one, but also then you have secondary to that, the so-called colored female image. was never really that positive, and the male so-called colored image was never that positive as well. But at the same time, for us, it didn't really feel like, even though it was something we did for the first time, as if it was, how can I say, like, it was special, of course, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, we're just doing this, man. It wasn't like, oh my gosh. No, it was just like, yeah, you know, although the nerves went all through the roof, and you like on the plane for the first time, and you traveling 10 hours to get to a country you've never been to perform there in front of an audience with a culture you've never seen in your life before. Yeah, it was hectic and very exciting in that sense. But I would say that, we kind of didn't really concentrate on that. It was more like the mission is bigger than that, man. So if we don't do it, if we allow our nerves and our shortcomings or whatever, even conflicts to get in the way of the mission, then it's just not going to be a good thing.
So it sounded like you have to deal with quite a lot of battles on so many different fronts as well. And just having that experience from a traveling perspective, I fully relate to what you're saying as well, is difficult. You're jumping on the plane, you have to leave your home, your family, going into a foreign territory, you with a group of people, and we know that cabin fever sometimes sets in, so that's one dynamic.
Yes.
And then other area, as ladies, just having to, get onto that stage, project yourself, express yourself. I mean, how was that received by audiences? I kind of want to use this in more general terms, whether it was abroad or locally as well. Because normally, like you say, and we know that hip hop used to be male dominated for a very, very long time, just in terms of what people used to see and what was projected. So, getting onto the stages and performing the music with the messages that you delivered, was that well received? Or did you find that there was certain places, spaces, or maybe people that felt a little bit overwhelmed and intimidated by what your ladies were saying at the time?
You said it, Dee. Yeah, I mean, with some, it was varied, very varied, I would say, because with some audiences, it was like, hell yeah, they're doing what we wanted. Yeah, this is awesome. This is something we've never seen before. We really the response was overwhelming. It was so positive. And then you came to crowds where you were like looked at, and what is this? And what are they trying to say? And the sound is so different to what we are used to. So it was kind of varied, Sometimes it took people a little while to get used to the fact that there are women rapping on a stage. That's not very common in the media, in the mainstream media. And it took a while for them to get used to the whole vibe. But then, I would say overall, and in most cases, it was a positive experience for all of us, for the audiences, for us as well. Sometimes we'd still run into sound engineers having egos and not knowing how to deal with who we are, what we represent. Because, being underground MCs, women, with a different mindset to a mainstream singer that is a woman. It's just very different, a different experience for people who had to work with us, I guess, as well. So there were conflicts sometimes too, because of course we were not going to back down for anyone, because the mission is greater. So it kind of threw a lot of people off, even other women, even other sisters, from management wanting to drive us into a specific direction, and where we didn't want to go, and our mission wasn't necessarily understood, turning down deals with Gallo. Sorry, I have to mention.
All good. You can mention.
Okay, sorry, Gallo. No, seriously, no, definitely. We didn't want to go that whole industry route. We wanted to be independent because of the message. And it was very political. It was hardcore. It was speak your mind. And of course, that was going to have to change if records had to be sold and the bottom line had to be thought of, So for us, we just turned it down. We thought like, okay, let's try and do something for ourselves. because we know how we kind of thought about how it could possibly affect the mission and what we were there to do, you know.
Yeah. When speaking about the mission, if you look at the ladies' role in society today and kind of gauging the mission that you're talking about, let's say from that era, let's say we're going back to the 2000s, early mid 2000s, to where we are right now. I mean, for you personally, as a lady that have traveled the world, traveled the country, you've had so many experiences. I mean, what's the most pressing issue that you would like to touch on, you know? Is there a message or something that you would like to tell the viewers, not just women, but I feel men needs to be educated as well. So is there anything specific in your mind that you go, wow, man, you know, we as females, we still have to deal with A, B, C, D, and E. I hope, you know, we can resolve these issues. Is there anything specific that you feel, you know, women still have to either be acknowledged for, or any of the challenges that do exist for ladies? Is there anything along those lines that's pressing for you?
I would say, you know, things do get better, and it has gotten better. If you think about where you're living as well, your location, where you are. I was in South Africa. South Africa is still very much dealing with you know, the whole issue of women abuse, and you know, just in the past couple of years, what you know, the heartbreaking things that happened in South Africa, where women were killed, and it was just because of the fact that they were women. There was no real other reason. And men still feeling that they have, as part of our culture, this how would you call it, like this rule over women. It's a very patriarchal society, and living here now and seeing how different that is, you know, they even have something called Papa Dag, where the mom gets off and it's dad's day, you know, he gets to, you know, he has a big responsibility. Those kinds of things are frowned upon if you don't bring your part as a man, you know, and you just, it's a very different society and culture. And of course, you still have the issues that we had, you still have the issues that you have back in South Africa. You have it all over the world. You still have in the workplace as well, of course, where women are not being respected and they're looked down upon. Those kinds of things you still have. It's better because all the collective fights and women warriors we're speaking of throughout the years, even the feminist community. I'm personally not a feminist, but you know, like all of those kinds of things, that standing up and saying we have rights as women has helped, and it's still helping. We still have to keep doing those kinds of things. Also, fighting silently sometimes, you know, where you stand up and do something and show other women, listen, you don't have to be what everybody or every man out there, you know, who has a negative perspective on women, think about you. You don't have to fall into a category, and, you know, you just don't have to. There's a different way. So for me, I would like to encourage men as well as women that come from patriarchal societies to travel, to see what it's like in other countries and have a different perspective on what's happening in their bubble. Because I mean, when I started, and I'm not saying that they are bad, that South Africa is all bad, or there's, you know, no positive things that happen. Of course they are. But it kind of, if we're talking about, use the cliche, broaden your perspective or broaden your horizon, that's what it does.
Yeah.
It gives you a totally different perspective on things, and sometimes a bird's eye view on the world in general, and that things, the way you grew up and the way your father treated your mother, and the way things are in a certain place where you find yourself is not necessarily where it should stay. It can change, and change is basically that thing that I'm big on, man. Like, and the fact that you can change your circumstances, you can. It's not impossible. But you have to kind of, I mean, it's a very general thing, but specifically for women, because a lot of us are just caught up in our little bubble and in our suffering or in our pain. And we just forget that there's a big old world out there and you can mean something other than, just being a victim.
Wow.
Doesn't have to be that way.
That's really powerful. So Egypt and Lyrik, I know that the time's ticking, the clock's ticking.
Yes.
But now I'm going to have to throw you into the deep end.
No.
This part of the discussion right now. Now that we've kind of got this understanding of Egypt and Lyrik, the musician, we got all the different insights and perspectives, and now want you to reach into your soul and into your memory banks and maybe pull out a short verse of one of your own songs that you feel means a lot to you. If there's one song that you could go, this is my verse, I can't get it out of my head. Would you please share that with us?
One of my own songs?
One of your own songs, if you don't mind.
One of my own songs? Okay. Let me just have a think, because this is obviously totally unexpected.
I just got to share with you while you're thinking about it. The reason I'm asking this question is, for me personally, one of Prophets of the City songs, Roots Resurrected, that's one of the verses that just do not want to leave my head. It doesn't want to part with my soul.
Yeah.
That for me personally, that is my verse. And for some strange reason, there's I think it's the song Bush Techniques and Prophets of the City. It's a battle rap.
Yeah.
Not saying anything really, it's just like I'm pumped full of testosterone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I mean, if there's something that really means much to me, it's probably got to be Roots Resurrected. And I thought, now that I'm speaking to a fellow artist and MC as well,
yeah, man,
get that out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I haven't been on stage for so long, man. So it takes a little while for the juices to kick in, the memory to kick in. I got that hip hop music flowing through my veins when I'm bumping it loud. People looking at me strange when I'm on the soul train and it's passion number one. I'm dealing beats while some people dealing guns, and I could have done the same. But the music broke the chains and I eat from it, breathe from it. I'll never sleep on it. Board a plane, jump a train, walk the street, done it. Got the drums, bass, keys, and the guitar strumming. My heart beats the percussion. My music never flatlined in a serious discussion. Keeping it positive from bar to bar, still approaching the industry with the art of war. Drop your jaw to the floor in amazement. Gotta hear more of our music on our stations. Radio stations. If there's knowledge, there can be no exploitation. Look at Mother Earth and let your music make a statement. Yeah, man.
There we go. That just captured everything that I was actually trying to get out in a couple of bars. We are going to be dropping your new song.
Awesome. Thank you
so
much.
If you don't mind, can you please do us the honor of introducing the track?
Well, this is my new single called Pay the Piper. It was released at the end of June, the 1st of July, actually. And it is the very first song after about a sabbatical of 3 years from music that I dropped in 2021 this year. So, wow, it is really a very big one for me because I've been away from the music industry for so long. And I hope you guys enjoy it, man. It's really about exactly what we are talking about now, that it doesn't matter where you've been, what you've been doing, and how life has been affecting you in what negative way. You can reach into your soul and pull out that courage that you need to go that step further, to be a trailblazer, to make a difference for others. Because I believe we're not on this earth just for ourselves. We're on this earth for everybody else. And if we are that pillar that people can look up to and find inspiration and encouragement from in a time like this that we are living in, that's half the battle won already. Yeah, just keep doing you and find the courage within yourself to do it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the music. Thank you so much for the messages. Thank you so much for the education. I know that you do have your YouTube channel going. So let's pump that very quickly before we say goodbye, because I know there's so many people that will be watching this. And of course, we do want them to connect with what you are doing. And my understanding is that you are giving classes and tutorials in production, right?
Yes, that's what my Outcome Blue Productions YouTube channel is for. Tutorials, beat making tutorials, because I know there's a lot of new beat makers out there, and it's especially focusing on, the beginner beat makers. Mixing tutorials as well, because most of us are bedroom producers and we kind of have to be the mix engineer, the recording engineer, and create the music at the same time. And without without a lot of resources. Sometimes, so yeah, it's also for just to encourage them to kind of do it. Don't worry about it. Just do it. You can do it. You can do it with whatever. Even if you're working with one speaker, and a broken pair of headphones, you can do it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Egypt and Lyrik, lastly in closing, for the people that's watching this and to our listeners listening to this, here is a did you know fact, right? In closing, I want to thank you. I stand up, I salute you.
Thank you so much, Steve.
The South African audiences do not know, excepting those that have attended the Jazz Festival of 2015 when POC did their reunion concert, is the fact that Egypt and Lyrik actually toured with Prophets of the City. We had to bring her on board, we had to bring her on stage as that secret weapon. One human being, one soul came on board and created the balance amongst all the guys.
Oh man.
That is just how powerful, her presence is. And that was just the power that she actually brought to the POC, to the Prophets of the City dynamic. So thank you so much for being a part of that journey. And
thank you so much, Steve. Thank you, Grandmaster. Wow, I salute you too. I salute, of course, you guys are my heroes, man. It would have been wrong for me not to accept that invitation. And I learned a lot, of course. And thank you for all the opportunities and for always making a space for my music on your show as well, and for supporting me all these years. I salute you. I salute you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Until we meet and speak again, take care, stay safe, and forever be blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You too, Dee.
This is Good Hope FM. This is Good Hope FM. We play the best music.
And then EJ, if you just give us a beaming smile or whatever you want to do for about 3 seconds, then I'll screenshot that and then I'll use that as a thumbnail for the video.
Okay.
Rappers don't smile, Q. Rappers don't smile. We're still angry. We're still angry.
But we're saying peace, like peace.
Yes, now I'm joking.
Up to you guys. Okay, cool. Okay, I can pull something from this.